welcome to this week's edition of the Banner Press Sports Corner. I'm Nicholas Siddell, sports writer here at the Brenham Banner Press. And in case you're unaware, the Texas high school football playoffs are here. And joining me in front of the Brenham Cove start to the road to AT&T Stadium, junior linebacker and defensive captain Caleb Espinoza, the leading tackler in the middle of the park. And he's been a really consistent tackler. I think at least 9 tackles in every game. And I want to say that 10 tackle streak is now at 5 or 6 games in a row. He has been a force down in the middle of the park, and we're happy to have him this weekend. Thank you so much for popping in, Caleb.
Yes, sir.
And really just being the leader. I know you're not a senior, but you still have a lot of responsibility there in the middle of that defense. Just how big of a responsibility is that there in that middle linebacker spot?
It's definitely a big responsibility, but I knew coming into the season last year that I had a big thing to I had a big responsibility to take up.
Yeah, I mean, how valuable was last year and kind of building up that confidence and getting you prepared for what you were going to be able to do this year?
It was very valuable.
Yeah, definitely. And, of course, probably a lot of people above you at that point, too, that really helped you out. Just who would you say you had the most valuable lessons from over the course of your sophomore year to prepare you for this year?
Probably Trey.
Yeah. And what was some of the things he really taught you there?
He taught me that it doesn't matter how big you are, no matter who you're going against, it doesn't matter. Just play your hardest and you'll get out there.
Yeah, and you've definitely done that, like 126 tackles throughout this year. Just what does it really take to be that consistent as a middle linebacker to be getting tackles consistently week after week?
It's just watching film, doing the weight room, doing everything Coach Young's has got me doing.
Yeah, and we'll talk a little bit about Texas City, your first-round opponent here later on in the program. But you also have guys like Christian Prosper and a few of your other fellow linebackers in there. Just how well do you think you guys have gelled as a linebacker unit this year?
We definitely came together this year. A lot of people are moving around, but like you said, we come together a lot this year.
Yeah, I believe it's like Traylon, if I'm not mistaken, who's kind of joined you guys there in that linebacker group. How well has he kind of meshed in with you and Christian in that linebacker spot?
He fit right in.
Yeah. I'm assuming there was no issues at all getting him to fit in there, right?
Yes, sir.
And it's just when you have a defense that is able to gel together and really be able to play at have a bunch of different guys at a bunch of different spots, just how much more lethal does that make your defensive unit?
It makes us way better. Like you said, everybody knows, or everybody just wants to play. So wherever they put us, we're gonna get the job done.
Yeah, and you've had some help from the offensive side of the ball, guys like even Chris Guidry, who's really come in lately as a secondary player, and just when you have guys able to go both ways and be successful both ways. How valuable is that to have on this team?
That's really good, knowing that we have other people besides our starters that can do the job.
Yeah, of course, we have junior linebacker Caleb Espinoza in this week ahead of the playoffs, and of course, following an undefeated district campaign for the first time since 2013. I know you guys aren't quite reflecting on accomplishments yet, but just how much does that mean to bring a district championship to Brenham for the first time since 2019 and also make that an undefeated district campaign?
It feels really good. I think that next year we're going to be able to do the same thing.
Yeah, and we're going to, of course, as far as this year's concerned, just what do you think was the biggest test along the way to getting that undefeated district title?
Definitely bringing our defense together. Like going through off season, everything. I just didn't know how well we were going to be, but everybody's doing the job, so we just got it done.
What was that first feeling, you think, when you kind of figured that the defense was really gelling together and you kind of had something there?
Definitely the Huntsville game.
So week 1, right out of the gate. But what was it about that game that really boosted up that confidence in the whole defense?
Everybody just wanted to play. We were all doing our jobs. Nobody was really missing assignments. And we were all just listening to coaches, and we got it done.
And you guys had a big comeback there to get the year started off 1-0 way back. I guess I know it feels like time's flown, but way back then. Just how much do you think that game propelled you guys for the rest of the year and be able to pull off that comeback?
Oh, it definitely boosted our confidence for sure.
Yeah, and really, you guys have had a few games where you've taken a punch. The Belton game was a good example of that. first half before the big third quarter to propel you guys, and also the Killeen game before you guys pulled away from them. Just what have you really learned about yourselves in games where you've really kind of taken a punch and then really fought back?
Like Coach said, he just wanted us to calm down, and then uh, after that, after he told us to calm down, we pretty much just got everything done right. Everybody was reading their keys right, and we got the job done.
And it feels like that's been a pretty similar message from all of those games where you have taken that punch. I remember that Killeen game, him saying that right after the Killeen game as well, and very similar message to obviously in that Belton game. Just really when you kind of go into the second half of both of those games, was it just a matter of making sure all that execution was going down right, like you've kind of been talking about?
Mm-hmm.
And really the execution, I think a lot of it has come down to the tackling part of it. Just as far as wrapping up guys, I mean, is that kind of easier said than done to get guys to the ground at certain points?
Well, we practice a lot of tackling drills during practice, so that definitely helps.
Yeah, and certain I would imagine that you guys kind of had to go back to the fundamentals of that tackling. I imagine, right?
Yeah, he got drills set up every day for us to be better tacklers.
Yeah, and I think if I'm getting this right, that's probably involving a lot of the I don't know if it's necessarily pads, but kind of a lot of those donut holes and stuff like that, right? And kind of making sure you guys are doing all your tackling right. And you guys have been really benefited this year by an offense that has put up explosive numbers every single week. I mean, how nice is that for a defense to know that you kind of have the other units back as far as trying to win football games at that consistent level?
It's definitely nice knowing that if we don't get our job done, that they're gonna execute way better than we have, or the other way around too.
Yeah, and I think they're averaging over 45 a game. They haven't scored less than 30 all year long. It's been a treat to watch and cover. And honestly, you guys probably have a shared objective, but kind of different ways to get about that. For you guys getting stops, for them scoring as many points as you can. But how does that kind of intertwine with each other as far as what the offense does and what you guys do?
We definitely build each other up whenever we get stops and whenever they score. Knowing that they're gonna score right after we get a stop is very good. Like it definitely boosts our confidence up.
Yeah, and you kind of, and it's kind of a buzzword here, confidence. Just, I mean, how important is that over the course of a 48-minute game to have that down?
It's very important. Knowing that everybody's just happy and we won't bring each other down, and everybody's confidence is just boosted.
Yeah, and when you've had those games where you have taken a punch, have you kind of felt that confidence dip at all through some of those tougher halves?
Maybe a little bit, but the offense definitely brings it back up after they score.
Yeah, and really, we're talking about an offense that has one of the best running backs in all of Texas, Jacoby Dixon, and a passing game with receivers galore. And you guys kind of see this offense work every single day in practice. Just, I mean, how tough is it to kind of go up in practice and face that good of an offense every day?
It's tough, but we definitely go neck and neck with each other, and it's just making us better every time that we go against them.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was going to say. Like, you got to be making each other better as far as that's concerned, right?
Yes, sir. Going against Jacoby every day is just making us way better.
Yeah, and of course, he's within 300 yards of the single-season rushing record, so he's getting really close to Brenham High School history in that aspect. Just looking at the playoffs now, last year you guys were kind of ran up right up against it first round against eventual state champion Port Neches Groves. This year, Texas City, potentially Liberty Hill, potentially Randall. It's another really tough gauntlet for you guys. Just where is your guys' confidence at this point heading into the postseason?
We definitely know that we can beat most of these teams, or all of these teams actually. But going against a couple hard teams, yeah, it's definitely like getting us motivated to watch film every day and stuff like that.
Yeah, and of course, Texas City, Friday night at Cup Stadium, they are no slouch either. They may be a fourth-place team, but that's a really tough District 9, and they're also a really solid team. And we were able to talk to Coach Yuns earlier this week, and seems like you guys will have a challenge in their running back as well as far as getting downhill is concerned. Just how much of a challenge does that create for your linebacker, for you to have a running back who just wants to get downhill and just go right at you guys?
It's definitely going to bring up some problems, but I think our D line and our linebackers can handle it.
Yeah, how much different is someone like that compared to a running back who tries to go to the outside more than occasionally?
It's way different, but honestly, I think it's better for me because he's just running right at me.
Yeah, you're kind of in that position to make that tackle immediately.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just as far as kind of wrapping up is concerned, I know that was kind of one of the big things first half last year that kind of got you guys a little bit. How much of practice this week has been focused on getting back to the fundamentals and making sure you guys are wrapping up properly?
It's been in the practice all week, all year actually. We've been building up for this.
Yeah, and of course the postseason, biggest time of the year. So I imagine you get the fundamentals down now, you're gonna be more than prepared, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's just, of course, and some of the things I've seen too, some of the big plays you guys have given up has been through the air on occasion, where there's been coverage or some of the tackling we've kind of talked about a little bit. Where do you think you guys are as far as your pass defense is from the start of the year to right now?
It's definitely been better, but we still got a couple problems we got to fix.
Yeah, and is one of those perhaps some of that coverage there in some deep plays?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So I imagine that a lot of it might be more in the secondary than you guys as linebackers are concerned, but just kind of what's kind of been the teaching tools to kind of get that fixed for the playoffs?
Really, it's not really their fault. Like, I wouldn't blame it on them because they got a lot of people coming in and out, but it's definitely been one of the problems that we've been having.
Is that something you think kind of comes with rotating a bunch of guys in and out? Because we've so something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So it's a lot of guys to get on the same page, not just that starting 11, but goodness knows potentially 8, 9 other guys as well. So that's a lot to handle, especially if you're getting some guys in there and resting some starters. So definitely an understandable point there. But for you as a junior, you're kind of getting into that point to where probably got to start thinking about colleges and stuff like that. Just as far as both the football side of it and the academic part of it, just kind of where are you right now as far as making a college decision?
I definitely want to go to college for football. It's just I gotta wait on the school to give me a chance.
Has that come for you yet, or
Not yet.
not yet? So I would imagine that's kind of giving you a little chip on your shoulder. I'd imagine,
Oh,
right?
for sure.
Yeah, and it's kind of hard to dismiss a guy at 5A Division II, the 126 tackles as well. Just do you think that'll eventually come down the line as you kind of continue to accrue good games?
I believe in myself and what my coaches will do. I think that opportunity will come.
Yeah, and of course, also again that playoff path. And you guys, it does seem like you guys are very confident. But you look at that Texas City, Liberty Hill losing the basket for a district championship, kind of really affected your guys' path. And then of course Richmond Random, which you guys have been playing the last couple of years in district games, now a potential regional semifinal game. Just do you think there's a little more confidence to go through that kind of a gauntlet in the playoffs this year compared to a year ago?
I think it's better for us to go against a hard team every playoff round that we play, just so we don't like slouch off and like get rid of our confidence.
Yeah. How long do you think your district's prepared you for that kind of mindset?
It's definitely prepared us a lot.
Yeah, and of course, and you guys have played some really good teams too. I mean, the Waco University team's got some good guys, and you guys really took care of business there. I mean, just to kind of go back to that game, do you feel like that's kind of the level you guys need to play at in the playoffs to keep this thing going deep into November and potentially December?
For sure.
Yeah, just I mean, what was it about that Waco U game that you guys remember really just being on all cylinders defensively?
I don't really know, but we're all just clicking.
Yeah, because you guys had, I think it was like one big pass play, and then after that it was nothing, almost nothing from there. It was just a matter of everyone playing to their potential, you think, on that night?
Mm-hmm. Everybody was reading the keys right. Everybody watched film that week, like a lot. Everybody was focused whenever we walked out during warm-ups, and it was just from there.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, reading keys has to be the most important thing for you as a linebacker, being right there in that second level of the defense. Just what are kind of some of the most common keys you have to read it as a middle linebacker?
Reading the H-back and the lineman, for sure. They'll tell you where the play is going automatically.
Yeah. So, I mean, what is it about what those two positions do that really gets you that insight immediately as to what it's about to happen.
The H-back goes where the ball goes mainly every play, and then if a lineman pulls or like goes a certain way or comes off the back and like blocks with the H-back, it's just everything's going that way. It just brings me right to the play.
Yeah, yeah, and I can't imagine is that a foolproof kind of way to read where a play is going? Has there been times you've kind of been fooled on certain keys that have kind of gone the other way on you?
Oh, they know what they're doing on the offense, but that's mainly how I read the keys.
Yeah, yeah, but I would 95% of the time that usually works for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, it's just really and the beautiful thing about this year's group is that you guys have got a lot of people coming back. You got a lot of juniors in this team, sophomores, obviously Jacoby being part of that sophomore class. Just even if this year may not go the way you wanted to go in the playoffs, how nice is it knowing you have most of everybody coming back next year?
It's real nice knowing that we're gonna have a lot of returning starters next year.
Yeah, and a lot of that is in your junior class as well. It's just, how well have you guys really meshed together as a junior class to come together and really lead this group to some big things?
We really came together during the off season, and then with the sophomores too, they've been stepping up. Everybody's just been coming together as a one team.
Yeah, and really in the offseason, too, I would imagine you had a lot of your classmates coming up from the junior varsity level. Was it hard at all to kind of get you guys the returning varsity guys to mesh in with your fellow classmates coming into varsity for the first year?
Mm-mm.
Not at all.
Not at all.
So does that kind of go back to the relationship you guys have in the classroom, too, as classmates? Because that's a big part of it, too.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's just really on the academic side of it, just kind of what's kind of your favorite subjects to study in school?
Probably math or health science.
You got a particular branch of science you like?
Not really.
Just a general sense of it. And then the math, I'd imagine you're a real big numbers guy then if you like your math, right?
Yes, sir.
So as a junior, what are the math classes now for as a junior? You guys are you getting into calculus yet or not quite?
Not quite.
Not quite. But are you building up to that kind of course? Or?
I think I'm in geometry 2 right now.
Geometry 2, so a lot of shapes and stuff like that at this point. What is it about both of those subjects that really have your attention in the classroom?
I don't know. It's like pie. I don't know. It's just there.
Better than the rest of the subjects, then, right?
it's just fun, I guess.
Yeah, and of course you still have that your English and language arts stuff like that. But math and science guy right there, Caleb Espinoza, junior linebacker, and of course now as we kind of enter the playoffs, just how important do you think that experience was last year at PNG to kind of prepare you guys for what a good playoff atmosphere is going to be like?
Definitely prepared us a lot. Seeing us go out in the first round, we didn't like that.
Yeah. How often do you guys kind of remind each other that you guys don't want to repeat the same thing this year?
They have been reminding us a lot, but definitely at the beginning of the season, they did remind us every practice.
Every practice, and obviously that's why you guys have worked yourself up to this point where you have now this opportunity and a somewhat favorable first round match. Don't want to discount Texas State by any stretch, but a favorable matchup to say the least. How important is it going to be to have that home advantage for the first round of the playoffs?
It doesn't matter where we play. We're just going to get the job done.
That's a good answer right there from Mr. Caleb Espinoza. And still got a little bit of time here, and just overall for you as a Brenham Cub, as a junior now, just how much has being a part of the Brenham Cubs meant to you to this point in your high school career?
It's definitely meant a lot for me. I've been wanting to play high school football since I was a little kid, watching them play,
Yeah, and of course, you get to that time frame, that mid-2010s, I'd imagine, where Brenham was really freaking good, getting to the big show, and making themselves notice at the 4A level before that jump to 5A. How much of those childhood memories do you kind of want to replicate now at this point where you guys look like you have a really good team on your hands?
Hopefully we go to state and win this time.
Yeah, of course. That's what we mentioned at the top of the show. This is the road to AT&T Stadium. And, of course, the nice thing about you being a linebacker is working with head coach Kenny Yuns almost more closely than anyone else, him being the linebackers coach. Just how valuable has that been to have your head coach be your positional coach?
It's been really valuable. He probably puts in more work than anybody on me. He pushes me the hardest out of everybody that he works with. But yeah, it's definitely valuable.
Yeah, and I know I know he really likes the talent coming out of you. And just what's kind of been a couple of the biggest things you've learned from him over your time as a Brenham Cub?
Really everything. He showed me everything, how to read everything, how to practice hard. Just everything, really.
Yeah, I mean, how hard is that to have that practice mentality to compare to a Friday night? The community's showing out. The lights are on you. Just how hard is that to kind of keep that up in practice every day?
It's not really hard. I've been wanting to work. I've been wanting to do that.
So it's almost like a working mentality then to get practice done, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and of course, it's a lot of hard work you guys do, and certainly wish you guys the very best of luck in the playoffs, as we'll be following it every step of the way here at the Brenham Banner Press. And of course, there's a lot more where that comes from in the Thursday edition of the Banner Press. Man, there's playoff games going on everywhere. Burden out in San Antonio this week, and of course, can't forget about the Burden volleyball group who is playing in a regional final on Thursday. So we can find out more about you guys' game against a really solid Texas City team who they've got some defensive weapons themselves. I'm looking forward to seeing kind of how that matchup is, as well as our other reporter, Nick Edring. He will be out in San Antonio to cover Burden and Brackett later on this weekend. And of course, that Burden volleyball regional final, you can find out more about the regional semifinal, as well as previews of both football games in the Banner Press in the Thursday edition. On the news side of the front page, we've got a whole bunch of stuff in there as well. A lot of Burden stuff, actually, from the city of Burden and the Burden ISD. And also a good feature from our reporter, Sarah Forsyth, on Michaela Spooner and what she is doing for the agricultural community in Washington County. And if you want to find out more on the Brenham Cubs, on the Burden Lady Panthers, all the news and information you need to know about Washington County, you can go to subscribe on our website, BrenhamBanner.com, or you can call 979-836-7956. Again, that website is BrenhamBanner.com, and that phone number, 979-836-7956. It's the biggest show in Texas coming up, and you're going to want to know how Espinoza and the Cubs do. So again, subscribe today, 979-836-7956. You can also scroll back on Spotify, on your preferred podcast platform, and you can check out all the previous episodes of the Sports Corner and Keith Domke's Banner Buzz show. And you can get that really snapshot in time as to all these different programs. Of course, we've had previous episodes with Andre Mojica and Jordan Harvey, two guys who have been really good in that chair over the course of the season. You can check that out on your preferred podcast platform. We thank you again, Caleb, for coming in this week. I've been Nicholas Hodel, and of course, certainly wish you very good luck against Texas City this week as well. We'll catch you here soon on the Sports Corner next week. Thank you so much for listening.